First ever African Netball World Cup concludes in Cape Town later on tonight. Two nations, that's England as well as Australia, are vying for that coveted trophy. Newzroom Afrika sports editor Vaylen Kirtley as well as reporter Vuyo Macoba are currently there at the ICC for us for the conclusion of the Netball World Cup to chat to us this morning about what to expect in that final and of course that fifth and sixth playoff match between South Africa as well as Uganda. Vaylen, I want to start with you. Of course, the disappointment from the South African point of view is that we are not medaling at this year's Netball World Cup, but of course we are building up to that match against Uganda starting at 11 this morning. Talk to us about the mood at the moment, what the expectation is for Team South Africa in this playoff match against the Cranes, the She Cranes of Uganda.
Thank you very much, Rachel. Certainly lots of excitement here inside the CTICC. Lots of activity that's happening, as you can see behind me, as many of the partners and sponsors of the Netball World Cup for 2023 get people involved. So it's not only on the court that they're getting involved in the action, and we know how loud the fans have been here in Cape Town. Just an update, in 7th place is Malawi. They just concluded their match against Tonga, beating them at 64-54. So where do the African teams place? Well, we know that we've got, as you said, the She Cranes of Uganda going up against South Africa in just a couple of minutes' time. Zimbabwe ended 13th at the Netball World Cup. It's going to be a tight match for South Africa because we saw in their last game in Group G there was just 2-point difference between the two sides, and Uganda taking 2 quarters in that match. So it's not going to be easy for the Netball Proteas. You mentioned that many South Africans were hoping to see the Proteas in a medal match. Yes, certainly after reaching the semi-finals in the last Netball World Cup back in 2019. But it seems as if many South African fans have adopted other teams but are still firmly behind South Africa. But really what it's about is about getting people involved. So I deliberately stood here because you can see all the people that are coming to just enjoy the vibe. The fact that we've got a first African Netball World Cup on our soil. This is what it does. It inspires young girls to take up the sport. It helps their parents understand the kind of opportunities that actually exist in the sport. And as you can see, this is what it's been like since I got here yesterday. And I know, speaking to Vuyo, that actually this is the kind of excitement that we have seen, despite the taxi strike that has threatened to make things very, very difficult. We've got a dad there. He's looking at a picture of Marie Fenter, one of our shooters. Good morning, sir. We're live on Newzroom Afrika. Show me who you've got there.
Sorry?
I was saying, can you show us your face?
I've got Mrs. Fenter. Is she Miss or Mrs. Fenter?
Marie Fenter, yes. Yeah, she's the one that's going to be slotting away the goals against Uganda. Why have you chosen to come to the Netball World Cup?
I like the game. It's a very nice game. The physicality. I'm quite tall. I find it interesting also, the tall people that play this game. Yeah, very nice.
What do you think of the vibe here in Cape Town with the Netball World Cup? Have you seen the city being transformed because of it?
Yes, we had like a few hiccups, but I'm glad that it's continuing over here. I think it's great. There's people coming from all over the world, so I'm sure they're having a great time. We've got good weather, and yeah.
Lovely stuff. Thank you very much. So let's chat to a couple of the other spectators. Ma'am, tell me where you're from.
I'm from Cape Town.
Okay. What do you think of the Netball World Cup?
Sorry?
What do you think of the Netball World Cup? The fact that it's here in the city and that we've got all these international stars.
It's been incredible. It brought everyone here to Cape Town. We're enjoying it. The energy is here. Malawi just showed us something.
Yeah?
Yes.
And what's important for you to bring your girls to come and see this, that, you know, there's women's sports played at the highest level?
Being the first on African soil, it was very important for me to bring them through. They both played netball at school.
Are you, after watching the netball girls, are you quite inspired yourself?
Yes.
Tell me what you thought of the Netball World Cup.
I think they went pretty fast and they played very well.
They've played very well, and you're going to test out your shooting skills now. All right, so that's what's happening inside the CTICC. Let's go outside because there's lots of music, there's beautiful colors. That's where Vuyo is.
Okay, we're coming on. Vaylen, I think one of the things that have been most exciting about this Netball Cup here in Cape Town is the number of fans that have flocked in to support not just the netball but the women's game as a whole. We all say 2023 has been the year of the women, especially the women in sport. We've seen it with Banyana even earlier this morning, how they showed their fight. It's a similar case with the Proteas here in Cape Town now. They might have missed out on an opportunity to get to the semi-finals of the World Cup. But I can tell you now, even with the cold conditions here in the city of Cape Town, that hasn't stopped any of the South African fans from coming into the ICC just for the final dance, the one last dance for South Africa, as they are coming up against Uganda for that first place playoff match. Of course, the biggest thing about tonight is South Africa trying to save their world ranking. They came into the context ranked 5th in the world. And that's what today is about, to make sure that they beat Uganda and, of course, they remain in that 5th place setting. Some of the fans have not just been fans that have come in and around city of Cape Town, but have flocked in even from the near provinces to support the game of a woman, which is netball. Some of them have got them here who come all the way from Northwest. I need to have a chat with them just to get a sense of their time here in Cape Town, and of course how they've seen their Proteas playing. Good morning to you guys, all of you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us just here on Newzroom Afrika. Let's talk about this couple of days with the Proteas here. You guys have come all the way from the Northwest. Why the decision to come to Cape Town and support netball?
I don't think really it's a decision that one would want to think about, to come and support women in the country, not only in the country but Africa as a whole. But we know that there's actually been an international state. So we thought that also that it coincide with the Women's Month. Why not? Why don't we come here and observe the unification of humanity in the Cape Town, South Africa?
How impressed have you been with the Proteas' performance so far? Yes, we might have missed out on an opportunity to play in the semi-finals, but they've put out a sounding performance from the previous games that they've had.
I think not only the Proteas, I think all the girls have actually proved themselves to be worthy of actually attending on the international world stage in terms of netball. But our girls have done so well to date. So we're basically saying that netball has actually won. Because you can see how unified people are. We came all over from the Northwest just to here in the Cape. And the weather has actually been favorable for what I actually never expected in any way.
Mama, I want to bring you in a bit, but in the sense of just in the support of women's sports, how impressed have you been with the support that has been shown to the Proteas and, of course, maybe the women's game, which is a netball?
It really has been good. I am impressed, especially because we also have our male counterparts who have come to watch the women play. It's very good. We would expect that we would find only women, but we are all here from all over the world.
Maybe also just a message moving forward to say it doesn't stop now in 2023, but it should move forward.
It definitely has to. You know, I think netball is not getting the recognition that it requires, especially at the lower levels. We really from now have to go back and say, viva to our women. We will support women's sport. Netball, we will attend their games.
And just in closing, we're playing Uganda. We played them earlier on. This is a definite win for the Proteas?
Definitely. We're going to show them play. We're going to show them play.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Go inside, guys, and enjoy the game and all the best. You can feel it from the audience here in Cape Town with the fans that have flocked in, of course, to give their full support to not just the Proteas, but the women's game as a whole. We do say that it's the year of the women in sports. 2023 is the year of the game, and netball is part of that game. South Africa is about to play Uganda now with the match setting off at 11 o'clock. We are fighting for that 5th place finish at this tournament to be able to save our ranking. It's back to you in studio, Rachel.
Thank you so much, Vuyo, as well as Vaylen Kirtley, enjoying the Netball World Cup, that final, obviously, between England as well as Australia, starting at 6 o'clock. And the first centre pass between South Africa as well as Uganda is at 11:10.